Welcome to CMV Productions Presents. The goal of this podcast is for those of you who have businesses, or those of you who are thinking of going into business, to get insight into what other business owners are doing. So hopefully you'll learn from the process. You can apply what we've gone over to your business, and hopefully that will help you in growing your business, which will help us all. And we hope that you enjoy it. We hope that you subscribe, and we look forward to learning together. Keith, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start with introductions.
All right.
Who is Keith and what business are you in?
All right. My name's Keith Swaby. I'm with Hope Plumbing, originally from Waterbury, Connecticut. Our business is out of Prospect right now. We specialize in commercial, residential plumbing and HVAC services. We do everything from residential faucet repairs up to housing projects, hospitals, anything you can think of. So we really try to be that one-stop shop for the homeowner all the way up to the general contractor.
All right, cool. Why get into plumbing? Why get into this business?
So, when they say you're kind of built for something, you were made to be something.
Right.
My father put a hammer in my hand when I was 8 years old.
Okay.
So it really wasn't. Not that there wasn't any other option for me. I think once you get older, you realize that there's a lot of other different things you probably could have gotten into.
Right.
But for me, it was just, I went to Kaynor Tech. It was a technical high school.
Right.
My father always wanted me to go to college. College for me just wasn't part of my path.
Right.
I never was good in, studying and just getting into the books and stuff. I was more a hands-on type of learner.
Yeah.
So once I went to Kaynor, they run you through a whole exploratory process where you go through all of the trades,
right?
Toolmaking. My father was a toolmaker. One thing he did not want me to be was a toolmaker. He told me to just pick something that had a license, So
right, that's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a very good point.
Yeah. So that was the main thing that he instilled in me young. Just if you're going to pick a trade, just pick something that you have a piece of paper that says you're licensed to do that trade.
Right.
Another thing he said, don't do something you can learn in the backyard. So
right,
like a mechanic or something like that,
Yeah.
So I went through the exploratory phase. I really liked plumbing and electrical were the two that I liked. It wasn't just because of the license. Those were the two that appealed to me the most.
Right.
Ended up picking plumbing, and that was kind of it. That was just where I went to. A lot of the kids that were in the trade that in the technical high school weren't going into the trades after, which I didn't understand because we just spent 4 years of our lives learning it.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
And doing the schooling and everything. And if you don't go to a technical high school, it's like going to college because you have to go to either an IMTI or a Penn Foster to do it online.
Right.
And it costs like $35,000 now to do that.
Wow.
Yeah. So we were getting it for free. Some kids didn't even try it. They were just weren't into it. So
wow.
Yeah.
So it seems your father was a big influence.
Yep.
In the business part of it. So the whole point of this conversation, this show, is really to talk about what your day-to-day operations as a business, some of the struggles you may face. So what are some of the big obstacles that you faced, coming into business?
Currently?
Well, give me the biggest one you got and we'll go from there.
Man, there's tons of obstacles. I mean, every day there's challenges with hiring, there's challenges with firing, there's challenges with, am I charging the right price?
Mm-hmm.
Challenges with customers, probably the biggest one that we're facing right now, I would say, is marketing. Getting the phone to ring on a day-to-day basis because we are coming out of that commercial world where we were always, we're bidding, and we had all the opportunities that we could get.
Right.
Now the only opportunity we have is when the customer calls us.
Right.
So getting that phone to ring and budgeting it the right way where, you have a lot of other companies that are out there that are bigger than us. Yeah. Their budgets are a lot more than we have to spend. So we're just trying to really hone in on what the best avenue is for us to spend our money in for marketing.
Well, that's something a lot of small business owners are going, well, not small, but growing businesses are going to face. They're always going to be they can't really keep up with the bigger organizations. So how are you going to compete with them? Right. So marketing, getting that phone to ring, getting people to call is so vital. So what have you guys been doing to sort of make that work?
So we really honed in on it, probably last year. You always do things, right? From back in the day, there was a Yellow Pages.
Oh, yeah.
You always had a website, right? But what did you do with that website, right? You built it and then you never touched it, right?
Yeah.
You put it on your business card, you put it on your social media ads, but that was it.
Yeah.
So really the last year we focused, we hired an SEO company, first of all.
Okay.
We rebranded our whole website. We rebranded really our whole business. Because before we were really commercial driven.
Right.
So now we have kind of like a mascot. He's on the side of our trucks.
Right.
We drive these big, huge billboards around.
Right.
So it's very animated.
Okay.
It catches your eye when you're driving down the street.
Yeah.
You got to put a QR code right on the truck. So when you're driving by, you don't have to write the number down. You it says call us today with a QR code. So everybody's looking for that kind of stuff now, and you don't even have to tell them what the QR code is. They already know. Right. Let me just scan it. Right.
Yeah.
So that brings them to our contact us page. We have a pretty good social media presence. That's something that it's just a branding thing.
Right.
Just staying in front of people's faces, just making sure that they know what the brand is.
Right.
And I mean, that's what we've been doing the last year. Now we're trying to get in and focus on like the AI driven stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the chat GPTs and everything, people aren't using Google as much. So just right when we got to figure Google out, and we're like, we got our keywords, we got our search words, we got, we're optimized and I'm using all these terms that I don't even know what they are. Right.
I hear you.
But we're doing all that stuff that's getting us to come up first on Google, and we're doing local service ads, and we're spending tons of money that we budgeted for that. And now we're seeing that we got to increase our budget because now people are using ChatGPT, and the ChatGPT websites aren't formatted the same way as Google websites are. So it's another challenge. It's another,
So,
rock in the road.
In doing homework for this interview, I got to say, I took a look at your website. It looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Very informative. I got to say, very informative. Second thing is, how much of a difference have you seen before hiring the SEO company to now?
Night and day.
Yeah.
Night and day. And it's a battle. We do bi-weekly meetings with them, and we sit down, and again, they show us our traction, how many impressions, how many leads came in, how many leads were converted. And if you just sit back and you're like, great, because I didn't understand it, for the first 6 months, I'm just like, all right, we're doing great, right? Then you start doing the research, because now we're spending a lot of money on this advertising. And when we have a month where the phone's not ringing, and SEO is a long-term game, right? It's not going to make it happen right now.
Right.
Well, when you're spending all this money and your phone's not ringing, now you start, all right, well, I need to understand this, right? Because we're spending a little too much, and I truly don't understand exactly what we're spending our money on. So the last 3 months have been, all right, instead of just showing me, explain to me. Right.
Yeah.
So we honed in on that. Before, like I said, we would build a website and not touch it. Now we're doing updates weekly.
Good.
We're adding new service locations weekly.
Right.
So all that stuff is just, we got to the top page of Google. Now we need to stay there.
Right.
That's what you need to do. So night and day before, from now. So, you gotta pay to play in the game of the big guys, So.
Yeah. Well, it seems like with regardless of the business, marketing is always going to be the most important thing.
Yeah.
Right. Because we've had this discussion about sales, right? And even when before we got on, started the episode, we were talking about the importance of sales, right?
Yeah.
but you have to get those leads in to be able to sell it to.
Exactly. You got to get in front of the customer.
Yeah, you got to be in front of them. If you're not, then what's the point of the business?
Yep.
In general.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So that's good. The investment is definitely important.
Yeah.
Is there any other things that you found that have been helping you guys grow, or things that you can kind of recommend to other businesses?
The key thing is the foundation, right? So like for us, it was hard because we had a website, and then we had our social media guy that was helping us out, kind of consulting. And he was like, for a year saying, we got to build a new website. We got to build a new website. We got to build a new website. I'm like, man, that's, however much money it's going to cost. And so we bit the bullet, we did it. And now we got a solid foundation, and now we could just like kind of bolt on, so, okay, we're going to spend the money on the SEO. We have the social going, other campaigns, email campaigns, text message campaigns. We have another company that we do that with. So stuff goes out kind of automatically. And I got a call yesterday that a guy that I look back, we haven't did anything for him for 3 years.
Right.
Called me yesterday, and called me on my cell phone, which just goes to show that I haven't done anything for them for a while, So I get the call, and he says, yeah, I get your communication all the time. So
that's good.
That email campaign that's going out that we don't think is really working is working because he remembered who we were, so it's consistency. Yeah. It's doing something and being consistent about it, and making sure that either you take the point on it or you have an employee that takes the point on it. Right. And you can be held accountable, or someone can be held accountable to make sure that every month, every week, every month, every year, we're doing something. And now that we've been doing it for a year, we have the data to go back and see what we did last January, what we did last February, what we did last March. Yeah. And we could work off of that, and we could proactively send promotions out saying that this is what we're working on, this is what we're doing, this is what we're offering, it's really just the consistency of doing it, and also recording what you're doing.
Right. Yeah.
So it could help you the following years and in the future. And then if it's you that is doing that, when you move out of that position, now you have a process for someone else to follow.
Yeah.
You touched on a couple of things. So right now there's a big trend. I think the trend of going into trade jobs because of AI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And everyone's trying to predict what the future will bring with AI. And so some people are nervous and are saying, hey, get into a trade job, right? Those will never go out of style.
Yep.
But you just proved the point that it's not just getting into trade, but also understanding where AI is going, how you can leverage it, how you can take advantage of it, learning it, right? It's not just saying, hey, I'm going to do a trade and I'm good. My business is going to succeed.
Right.
You have to take all these extra steps. Yeah. With AI, I guess, what has been your biggest challenge, or what do you see the potential for this new technology?
So I actually said to one of my guys, if I was still in the field today, working every day as a technician, I would be the greatest technician there ever was.
Really?
That's the reason every homeowner is questioning us.
Right.
Well, I could get this part, or, ChatGPT said, it used to be Google, right?
Right,
well, Google says this, well, you can't really trust Google.
Right.
But ChatGPT, you could trust him.
Pretty accurate.
He's pretty accurate.
Good job, yeah.
Every homeowner saying, well, how come that costs this much? Or I could get this part there. So now we have to work harder to provide value and show that we're the professionals, and, you get guarantees and warranties and all this stuff.
Yeah.
If you're not if you're not moving with the times, if you're not adapting these things and you're not using them, then you're just going to get left behind
all the time.
Yeah. And that's kind of where we're at with the ChatGPT or the AI platform for websites. I wish we would have did it a year ago. Mm-hmm. Where right now we're still in the beginning of where it is. And I'm glad that we have the upper hand to know and be smart enough to know that we have to use it. But as far as in the trades, anybody getting into the trade, I'm not saying should rely on it, but if you have no other form of training being given to you, it's a great tool to use. And you can really learn a lot from it. You can really use it at a technician standpoint.
Well, I would imagine that from a small person coming in, maybe with not as many guys as you would have, maybe like 1 or 2 guys that are working it, they can probably utilize AI a little bit better in the training piece, it's like you were saying, but in other areas of the business as well, right?
Oh yeah. Yep. I mean, I use it daily, organizing my emails, using it for customer follow-up calls. It could really, and I haven't even really dove deep into like the Claude or anything like that, you know?
Right.
So, if you're a one-man band and you're in and out of the van, you're working 12-hour days, I think it would just make it that much easier. Kind of like a personal assistant type thing, you know?
Right.
You could just remind me this, remind me that. You know, tomorrow when I get in, do this, and it'll do it, you know? Yeah. So I think it's awesome. I'm not scared of it. I'm adapting to it. Yeah. I think everybody should be.
It's a tool.
It's a tool. Yeah.
Yeah. It's another tool in a tool belt.
Yep.
Do you see any risks at all in your profession?
No.
Yeah. I mean,
no,
I don't think so. I mean, how would that happen? I mean, I need a plumber. I'm not going to ask AI to do it.
Yeah. I mean, there's certain guys out there that'll tell you that robots are going to be coming into your house and working under your sink. But I always say, you know what, as a plumber, I tell my guys, you need finesse, you know, because everybody thinks, oh, big bad plumber coming in your house and you got to just tighten that thing as much as you can. But it's not really about that, you know, so you got to have the feel in your fingers to tighten things up and see a leak and know when it's going to stop leaking and stuff like that. So, I don't see it getting to that point in my lifetime. And, you know, who knows what's going to happen. But as far as the admin side of things, it's a great tool, and we use it. I tell my guys to use it. You know, for us, for the technical side, just to jump back on it, you could take a picture of the inside of a water heater, because now water heaters, you got to call tech support anyways, right? So you need support. It's not like the old days where there were 10 items and it was one of them and you had to figure out the wiring and stuff like that. You still have to figure that stuff out. Right. But there's so many model numbers and part numbers and all this stuff that the water heater manufacturers and boiler manufacturers, they want you to call tech support and get on the line with them. So we could speed that process up just by snapping a picture of the unit, and it'll tell you, yep, this is a Navian, 240E, and this is the part that you need, and this is the model number, so.
Wow. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. That makes it a whole lot easier. And it's not just in your business, but it's in every business.
It's everywhere. Yeah.
And smaller businesses that are coming up, you may find it a little bit difficult, a little bit scary to utilize it, but it is something that, we all have to take that chance with, in order to try to get better from a business perspective.
Yeah.
That's great. So from a growth perspective, how have you guys been doing, over the last few years? You moving in the right direction? Everything's good?
Yeah. Yeah. We're always looking for growth year after year. We were growing, took kind of a little pause. And I think of growing as how many trucks are we buying a year, Right. So, probably, we're always buying new trucks. We're always growing. We're always hiring. We retain the good ones. There is some kind of a revolving door for, you got to get the bad apples out. So
right. Yeah.
We have a pretty good culture. We have core values. We have a mission, vision statement. We hire on that and we fire on that. Most of the guys that we let go usually work themselves out of the business just because they don't jive with everybody, Right. So, and we're pretty proud of that. So we, on the growth part, we're always looking to grow year after year. Now we want to grow in the right, percentage,
Right.
Before I just wanted to just be big, just to be big.
Right.
Yeah, you wanted 10 trucks on the road.
Yeah.
You wanted 20 guys. And then you start looking at, all right, well, how profitable are we? You know?
Yeah.
So we got to a size where we were like, all right, we got enough guys to do pretty much anything that we need to do, any job we can handle. Now focusing on the training, focusing on our core values, focusing on our why. Why are we here?
Right.
My guys, what's their why?
Right.
We really try to make sure that we're not just doing it for a paycheck. Right. We're doing it for some kind of reason. And that's really helped our growth in the last year and our retainage. of employees. Everybody that works for me is part of the family.
So if you're giving advice to someone else that's in a position, running a company, whether it be like yours or any other company, what's some of the things that you think they should focus on for growth from a growth perspective?
Processes.
Okay.
Yep. And that's what I've been working on the last year too, is trying to build processes for our call taker, for our dispatchers, for our estimators, all the way down to the technician.
Right.
And to kind of like, all right, where do we park when we pull up to a house?
Right.
Where do we walk? Do we walk on the grass? No, we don't walk on the grass. We walk on the sidewalk.
Right.
We get in there. We wear floor savers. We knock on a door and we step back from the door so we don't look overbearing to mother that's home alone or whoever it may be. We send a bio of the technician before we get there, so we're adding value right there. Yeah. Everything right down to the way my call taker answers the phone. She has a script to follow, and we laugh about it whenever she goes off the script. Something gets missed, So
right.
These processes we're building them for a reason because it'll work, So that's something that took me a long time to learn, is documenting the processes of everything that we do on a daily basis.
Yeah,
really helped us grow like huge in the last year.
I'm a big technology guy, but I'm also a big process guy. So it's funny you bring this up. So what would your advice be to other business owners to implement a process, to make sure that the process is being followed, right? That adoption from your employees. Because like you said, some employees will be like, I don't need this. I know my job. I know what needs to happen. I know all the steps. Don't worry about it, Kevin. I got it.
Right.
How do you make sure that that people are following the process? How do you implement that?
So as far as making sure that they're following the process, you gotta, we have a saying that you have to inspect what you expect. So on a day-to-day, you got to do ride-alongs. You got to listen to calls. You got to put the time in. Unfortunately, it takes time.
Right.
So even I'm at a position in our business where I don't have that time.
Yeah.
But I have to make it a priority. Starting off, building the processes is everything that you do on a day-to-day basis. And this is something that I would say to someone just starting out. When you start out, first of all, how big do you want to get? Where do you want to grow to? What is your dream? Right.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody says, I just want to be doing this until I'm 60 years old.
Right. Yeah.
So I think everybody's dream is to at least at some point hire somebody,
Right. Yeah. You would think.
So building that process to, maybe it's not the call taker process, but it's the job that you do, running the service calls.
Right.
How do you walk in? How do you present options? How do you price? Being able to take something and give it to another person to then get in a truck and say, okay, this is what I need you to do. Because that's the biggest thing with a lot of like the smaller guys is they don't trust enough to let go of certain things.
Yeah.
But also because they don't have the process to give to somebody to follow. And they don't work on training because a lot of times they don't have the time to do that. So it's a hard balancing act, but that's the biggest thing that I would say is just writing down that process, and that's going to help you expand a lot faster in the future.
And how do you hold people accountable who aren't following process?
So they walk into the office.
Kind of a hard one.
It's not working out too well, buddy.
Sorry, you got to.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? And part of training too is I train a lot. I told you guys I was just at a conference for the last week. This is the first one that I brought my guys to. I go on about 2 conferences a year.
Okay.
Usually about a week. Those are training on processes, training on inspecting what you expect.
Right.
Hiring and firing, dispatching, accounting, all types of trainings that I go on to learn how to operate my business more profitably. One thing that they say is if you're going to, I don't know if I'm getting off topic here, but if you're going to fire somebody, when the time comes for you to fire that person, that shouldn't be the first time that person is hearing about that. Right.
Yeah.
So that process should be a 2-3 step process,
right?
From a verbal to a written to second written or however you want to do it, to the fourth time being, listen, it's not working out.
Yeah.
Right? Like we've talked about this plenty of times in the last 6 months and you're just not changing. Right. So, part of our process doesn't really get to that. Cause like I said, we have a culture of people that are really, into their job, really love their job and really want to commit and do their job well. So it's just, hey, listen, like my call taker, I sit across the room from her. I hear everything that she says on the phone. When she slips up or messes up, I just say to her, hey, why don't you try this next time?
Right.
Or let's listen to that call together right now.
Right. Yeah.
Let's see where you got off track. Cause we try to keep them under 6 minutes, right? We don't want to have 15-minute calls. Just,
right. Yeah.
When you're calling in for a service and you're like, she put me on hold again, or,
right.
Why didn't you get my address in the beginning? Right. Like all these things. So, we try to keep that call down to 6 minutes. And so any of them that are going longer, we're looking at them like, what happened and why did it go longer?
Right.
So that's just it. Like when figuring something out when it happens, not waiting 2 weeks, not letting it stir up,
right.
Not, then all of a sudden something else happens. And then as an owner or a boss, you start to blow a fuse and you're like, you start screaming, Can't let that happen.
Yeah.
And my guys all understand it. We all mess up. And that's a big thing to me as a leader. I say, I don't say a boss or owner. I look at myself as a leader. I always take the blame for anything that happened in my company. Yep. And I look at three things: are they willing? Are they capable? Or are they capable of doing the job? Are they willing to do the job? And were they trained well? They almost always check off the first two. So it always leads back to, I didn't train them on that topic. Right, so I take the brunt of everything that happens in the business. And I think that the employees see that and it makes them strive to be better, Right. So when they mess up, sometimes they come to me and they say, hey, I messed up. I should have did it this way. So you kind of flip the script to where you don't even have to say anything anymore.
Right. They know.
Right. Yeah.
They know they could do better and they're going to do better.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And that's definitely the way to go about things.
Yeah.
Because we've all been employees, right?
Right.
And who would hate the boss that comes in and just starts screaming and yelling about something that he didn't tell us about.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
And it happens.
Yeah, it does happen, unfortunately.
Yep.
So, Keith, tell us, you guys have anything that you wanted to bring up that you're doing, anything you'd like to highlight for the business, let people know about you, like where they can find you?
Yeah. Find us online. It's thehopecos.com. Really, any issue that anybody has, they could call us. We're getting into more drain cleaning, and we're actually doing pipelining now.
Okay.
So that's going to be, the next part of what we have to start marketing on.
Right.
So any drain lines that are out in the yard that may be collapsed, usually you'd have to excavate them and dig up the whole line. Now we could just go through the house and clean it out and line the pipe, so you don't have to worry about sidewalks or anything like that outside. So, I'm pretty excited about that. That's kind of our next kind of thing that we're going to hit. So,
and what's the website?
Thehopecos.com.
Hopecos.com.
Yep.
All right.
Speaking of SEOs, before we go, so I also tried finding you online. Are you going to start expanding your personal reach?
As far as like my social media?
Yeah, your social media.
It's a hard thing for me. But I'm going to try to, yeah. We focus on obviously the business, and I've got a guy that does that. And my partner is really good at like sharing videos and stuff like that. But we've been talking about just getting our overall personal, Facebook and Instagram. And I think TikTok is like the new thing that business wise, we're going to focus on.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I don't really have a huge personal preference or presence.
Well, you're not the only one. So
yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I was trying to find him, like, this guy's undercover.
Well, that's kind of the direction I'm trying to go now, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of thing you kind of take it's a little bit risky. I mean, I personally have started doing it myself, like getting more out there.
Yeah.
But coming from a certain generation, you've always been kind of taught to sit back and watch and learn.
Right.
Listen.
Right.
Not necessarily put yourself out there.
Right.
We had a common saying, when we were younger, growing up, it's like, don't let anyone know what you're thinking.
Right.
Right. It's like, well, yeah, that in certain situations that makes sense. But from a business perspective, maybe you kind of want to let people know what you're doing
a little bit. Yeah.
Just a little bit about you and what's going on around in your world, so people can be more closer to you and know more about you, because people buy from who they like.
Right. Exactly. Buy from who they like and who they trust. Yeah. I'm a pretty quiet guy. Yeah. And I don't really putting all my stuff out there. So, but it is something I need to work on. So yeah, that'll be the next step. I have to go make that a goal for me.
Well, I think you guys are doing great.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So thank you for coming and being a part of the podcast. I think we got a lot of great information today. I think you might have actually helped some people. I know I've learned something today, and I really appreciate you coming out.
I hope so. Yeah.
Helping us out and pushing this thing forward and promoting your business.
I appreciate you guys having me here and giving me the opportunity to. Yeah. Yeah. It means a lot to me. And I just want to help people grow quicker and better than I did. We all make mistakes out there, and it's hard, there's a lot of different avenues out there to learn from nowadays. So, I just like helping people. So
yeah, that's it. We can tell, man. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Keith.
Thank you.
Thanks, Keith.
Thank you.